Hello everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Aaron Dicer.
And today we're going to tell you how we felt about the pilot of Gotham. Hi Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good to see you. Aaron Dicer in from out of town.
Yeah.
Doing a special how we felt about with me. Today we're going to talk about Gotham, and of course, as I've been announcing, we're going to be doing Gotham discussions starting on Wednesday, but unfortunately not with Aaron.
No.
But other folks.
I won't be around Wednesday.
Me and Steve and Dan's News will be doing Gotham discussions, and we'll be doing in-depth reviews, discussions, 30 minutes, 45 minutes on each episode as they come out. But we wanted to tell you kind of how we felt about the first episode just right away in case you hadn't decided whether or not you wanted to watch it. I know this is one that some folks have been kind of on the fence about, and I do this with movies, so I thought, why not with TV shows? So, and I've done it with some TV shows too. So anyway, we're going to tell you a little bit about how we felt about the first episode of Gotham. Gotham, the reimagining slash prequel slash police procedural drama on Fox. It begins right away with the death of Bruce Wayne's parents. Spoiler alert, Bruce Wayne's parents die.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing that happens. Surprisingly, right away. The show is not taking its time. It wastes no time.
It kind of wants to get that stuff behind it, it feels like, in a way, because it wants to explore new ground.
Well, I think that it also wants to use it as the launching pad for the whole show.
Right.
You know, this is where the whole thing begins. And so we're focusing mostly on Jim Gordon coming in from out of town. This is kind of his first big case, and he's having to kind of learn the ropes of how Gotham is different from other cities and how corrupt it is, and that in order for him to even survive, he's going to have to play by a different set of rules.
And if he's going to survive, he needs to get a little bit crazy. I think it's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like so anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Aaron, how did you feel about the pilot of Gotham?
Oh, cool. Is this where I get to show my board?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it's your first time. Everybody enjoys their first time.
I said, Jim Gore got it done. That's what I said.
Okay.
I love Jim Gordon in this.
Okay.
He is my favorite part of at least the pilot of this series, which is good news because it kind of centers around him.
Yeah, he's kind of the main protagonist, right?
So that's good news for them. I think he's charismatic. I think he has a proper level of seriousness to him, and yet at the same time, there's elements to his life that are a little bit lighter, and there's romance in his life. So it's not that he's all stuck in the mud, but he's I feel like a real human being, and he's that kind of TV character I love that just feels very no-nonsense and gets it done and makes things happen. So I really enjoyed him. I wish I should know the actor's name. I really should. I can't remember it right now, but I think he does a great job. Now, as far as the rest of it goes, there were a few things that bothered me a little bit. I felt like it played the fan game a little bit too much, and what I mean by that is so many references that it almost felt a little forced to me at times. Like, that didn't have to be there yet. You're doing a TV series. You've got time. We can get there over time. So a lot of that stuff felt like, oh, we've got to get the audience to know, okay, this character will be there. We promise. He's going to be here soon. So
not only will they be there, but seeding, oh, this is the villain they'll be, or this is...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's very obvious who they are, too. It's not like it's subtle. None of it's subtle. The references are very... Well, I'm sure there are subtle references that I didn't catch. I'm sure as an expert you caught them all.
Yeah, and I'll mention a few things.
Okay, good. But, so that bothered me a little bit. Also, it was a little dark for me, especially for television.
Wow, okay.
I have 4 kids, 4 boys. They range like 9 to 15. And I'd watch it with my 15-year-old, but there was enough violence, and even part of it takes part in a seedy club, and the women in the background barely have any clothes on, and it's just like a lot of that stuff I was just like on a TV show. I mean granted, The Dark Knight is dark. That's it's part of his name, but I'm just saying, for me it was like I don't know, it's a little bit much.
Would you say that tonally it's any darker than the Nolan films were?
But those are movies.
Yeah,
movies and TV are different, I think.
Yeah, I'm not criticizing you. I'm asking a question. Is it for folks that haven't seen it yet? Is it darker than the Nolan films?
Oh no, not at all. In fact, I would say the Nolan films are even a little bit darker than the show is.
Yeah, and here's the reason I bring it up. I think the Nolan movies are, and I'm comparing them because clearly there's a lot of deriving going on, and you would expect that. Yeah. We got Carmine Falcone here. We've got the whole mob thing going on.
Falcone? Because they didn't say Falcone.
Because it's Falcone in this. That kind of. I'm not going to be a fanboy about it. If that's how they want to pronounce it.
It's pronounced
fine,
like ice cream. Okay,
well,
ice cream cone.
Considering he doesn't.
Believe him, not me.
Well, anyway, I'm used to Falcone. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. So, what was I even talking about? Well, so I think that that it's kind of on par there tonally, but this show has blood and stuff. The Nolan films didn't even go there.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting.
Darker.
I don't know that it's darker. I just think that it's maybe more graphic.
Here's what Nolan does that I think actually this does better. I think this does something better than Nolan.
Oh, wow.
Nolan gets dark and doesn't get light. His movies a lot of times just ground themselves in that tone.
Ooh, I don't know if I agree with that. I think Begins and Dark Knight have lots of levity, but
I guess you're right. I guess they do have a little. I'll backpedal on that a little bit.
You've got nice coat, and you've got. I mean, there's levity there.
But even the levity is
he's flying
dark.
on rooftops.
Fair enough. But there is definitely levity in this.
Let me just say,
well.
this is a pilot. We don't have any more yet. I had lots of fun with Begins and Dark Knight, and even things in Rises, though I think it's a lot more serious. This I wasn't really having a lot of fun with.
Yeah. No, the levity in this isn't fun. It's almost jokey. When they
almost like unfunny jokey in my personal opinion.
For real.
I'm hoping the writing picks up a bit because some of the stuff that I think they thought was funny didn't really play for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I would definitely agree with that.
What did you think the worst thing was? What was something that just didn't work at all for you? I mean, I guess you said it was a little dark for you. Was that
no. I would tag the worst thing as just kind of those moments that I talked about where I just felt stuff was forced.
Okay.
Like for a pilot, I just felt like they tried to pile so much in because they wanted to make sure that the audience stuck around. And I feel like you've got it when you're doing this property, when you know you've got the Batman TV show, the audience is going to stick around for 2 or 3 episodes. Like you can spread some of that stuff out and not feel like you have to squeeze it all in. But maybe they just maybe they wanted to get done with the backstory and just kind of move on. So that was probably my worst thing.
Okay, we'll go ahead and flip your other sign.
Oh yeah, I get to do this now too.
Yeah, feeling it
spins all the way around.
Not feeling it, it does.
This is one where I feel like I could do this and just where it lands, that's what I'll go with.
Okay.
Because I'm kind of on the fence on it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I think I am going to land on feeling it, and I think that comes.
So, are you going to give it another shot?
I'm going to give it another shot.
Okay.
It comes down to the property is thick with possibilities. I like that it's a little bit of a reimagining. I want to see where it goes, and again, I love the central character. If you don't connect with Jim Gordon, I bet it's a totally different experience.
Yeah,
I really do, because he is the draw for me as that kind of character that I want to come back and see. So, I will go with I'm feeling it.
Aaron, this one, and I don't know, I guess I'm getting more of a sense of it as we're talking, but giant question mark.
That's appropriate.
Giant question mark.
A little bit of a Riddler.
It is brilliant. I think there is a lot of potential here.
Yeah,
I think this thing could go in some really great places. Read a couple blogs, a couple early reviews before I saw it that said that the pilot can't decide exactly what kind of show it is. I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like it's a procedural crime drama set in what is clearly a heightened kind of comic book universe.
Yeah.
I think that what I think that if there is a tonal issue, it is having a difficult time, at least at the beginning, finding that balance between making the fans happy, as you were talking about, and just simply telling their story. Mm-hmm. The problem with something like this is that they have you immediately with a property this beloved and also this like recycled, this done so many different ways and different times.
We haven't talked about that. Yeah.
you really run the risk of losing people if you do it any other way than what they think their definitive version is. The problem is most people don't land on a definitive Batman.
Right.
We all have our favorite Batmans, and for a lot of us, it's kind of different, especially depending on which one we grew up with and that kind of thing. So what gets kind of tough with this for me is that they have this, what I'm sure they feel like is a big responsibility to get it right, whatever that means. And so they're going, okay, we want to make sure that we've got the whole fun, quirky comic book thing going on. But how do you do that while still making like a dark, serious show that people can take seriously? They're trying really hard to do that, but I don't know. I'm having a really tough time reading it. I don't know exactly how I feel about it yet. I need to give it some more time. Here's where I'm at. I'm sitting here just noodling it, trying to because afterwards I was like,
that's
wow.
what I'm feeling. It's all about, man.
I was like, wow. I don't know. Here's the thing. The big question I keep asking myself is, if it wasn't these characters, would I still come back and be interested in it?
That's a valid question. I think that's what you have to say.
I don't know right now. Is this premise and this setup interesting enough if it isn't these characters? And I'm leaning toward no right now. I'm leaning. Again, it's got potential. I think it can get there. But right now, I feel like it's writing really hard on. No, it's you don't understand. That's Harvey Bullock, and that's Jim Gordon, and that's Renee Montoya, and you're supposed to like these people because you've heard of them. And
right,
like
exactly.
And so I feel like it's not working hard enough to make those characters like immediately have their own voices and be distinct characters.
But do you feel like that's because they squeezed them all into the first 42-minute episode? You know what I'm saying? So they don't have the time to develop that many characters in that many minutes.
I don't know that you're right, but I don't know that what I'm talking about is developing so much as it is simply I wasn't with the writing a lot. Like a lot of these characters, they felt a little bit two-dimensional and not but generic to me. I didn't immediately go, that guy's interesting. You really latched hard on a Jim Gordon. I thought I keep saying that he's got potential. I think he could go places, but right now I'm like, okay, he is like kind of your typical like good cop who's put in a bad situation. He does kind of what I would expect him to do.
I'm a sucker for that thing, though. I love that, Captain America, try to do the right thing in a hard situation.
I guess I just wasn't real impressed yet. Everything I really liked were all the things that I could see in the trailer that I expected to like. I really like what Gotham so far looks like. I think that the production values are pretty good. There's some really breathtaking sets. I think that that Gotham police station is an inspired design. That looks fantastic. There's a lot of being the Batman fan that I am. There's a lot of a couple things here and there that I kind of recognized as, okay, they probably borrowed that from that. They borrowed this from this. I'm talking about in-city design and stuff. The bridge reminds me a lot of the bridge that you have to cross over and over and over again in Arkham Origins. There's some stuff in there where I'm like, okay, that looks really good. I think there's a potential for this thing to have its own really unique and distinct tone, but I don't, and just kind of feel, but I don't know if we're, I don't know. Right off, the characterizations didn't impress me real well, and part of the issue too, of course, is that there's a lot of things that are just different, and it's a reimagining. It's very Smallville in that way. It's very, let's do things because we've never done it this way before, and I'm just hoping that they are smart enough to make it more than that. I'm especially talking about, and I won't go into details yet, but I'm especially talking about things like with Selina Kyle and what's done with her, and Harvey Bullock's overall characterization did not immediately latch onto him like I was really hoping I would. I think the actor is doing a really good job.
Yeah, I like him.
But Harvey Bullock is one of my favorite Gotham police detectives. It's so exciting to finally get to see him brought to screen for the first time. He's never been played by anybody except for in animation, and again, this is supposed to be these characters like really super early, so they might ultimately become more of what we're used to. I'm glad that they're not all gimmicky, exactly the opposite of what they're supposed to be yet. There's a little bit of that in like, say, like Oswald Cobblepot. He's gonna be right now. He's like really sniveling and unsure of himself. But that's also early Penguin in a lot of comic book versions. So like that's kind of neat. But I don't know. I still have that thing that I had when we first found out about it. Of wow, everybody's so much older better than Bruce Wayne, and everybody very early has these really major, profound connections to Jim Gordon. I'm kind of thinking 5-7 years into this series, when when Bruce Wayne grows up, or and well after that, when Bruce Wayne grows up and he were to become Batman, it's very possible that we would potentially, depending on how long the series lasts, have that issue of we kind of got Batman before Batman, and a lot of people were really kind of worried about that. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't do that, but I think it could end up going there. Anyway.
Yeah, do you want to do your then we can talk some more?
Yeah, the sign's tough. Right away.
I agree.
Yeah, the sign's really tough. I mean, obviously, I've got to keep watching this because I'm doing a series on it, but I would definitely come back for the stuff that I like I said, I'm with you. I think the guy playing Jim Gordon is great. I'm going to go ahead and go with I'm feeling it. But I don't know.
But just barely, right?
This whole thing is just a very, I don't know, experience. I know I'm really all over the place right now.
A couple things. Number one, when I review new television, I always wait 3 episodes to review. Pilots are the worst way to review new television because they're designed completely different than every other episode of a series. But, not that there's nothing there to glean, because there is. There absolutely is. It sets a lot of the tone.
But the pilot's very important because if a person doesn't like a pilot, they won't come back.
Yes,
I think pilots are fascinating.
But pilots are also what they use to suck in executives and people who, are eventually going to pay for the show.
Oh, that's right, yeah. And then after that, it might go off on its own direction
and
because they start to believe in the show.
Exactly.
Okay, but do you think there's anything in this that they went, this has got to be there for executives and it will get better afterwards? I'm
hoping the stuff where they try to squeeze all that in was for the executives, and that over time they'll allow it to breathe a little bit more than that. I think this show has to breathe.
What's interesting is I wasn't surprised by any of the references, though. Like I didn't feel like
there were so many.
I don't know. I don't think there were. I think the issue is the characters they chose to use, because I think somebody who is not as I
felt like I had my Batman bingo board and I had gotten bingo within the first 15 minutes. They're just there's him and there's him and there's him.
Yeah, but that's because they chose to populate this world with almost nothing but pre-existing characters. What are you going to do? What I'm saying is,
that's true.
They're going to have that
choice.
Every episode. We may not have to always have Ivy hanging out with plants, but I don't know. I guess, and again, I looked at a lot of promotion materials. I was expecting that stuff. I guess I was almost expecting more because all we really got was, okay, so Edward Nygma has kind of a thing for questions. Okay, I'm not surprised by that. Ivy is around plants. Okay, but I mean, it was all very kind of superficial stuff where some of that I can buy it. Some of that
cameo. They were cameos. They weren't roles.
But they were also setups for characters. Here's the thing. I think there's too many of them. I think it would have been really smart to leave Nygma out until the next or third episode, because he's clearly, he's in the police station. I'm not revealing anything that we didn't have with promotional stuff if you've been keeping up, but I've talked about this on other things. But so he's in the police station. He's doing forensic stuff. They didn't have to throw him in there right away. But the big one for me was, I thought Ivy was very conveniently placed. There's a lot of that kind of stuff where I'm like, why is Jim Gordon going to be so incredibly integral to all of these people's lives this super early? Yeah, you're right. You're right in that there's a lot of characters thrown in right out the gate to say, no, it's Batman. Don't forget, it's Batman.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it's a reference problem. I think it's just.
There's a depth problem to it.
But if they'd introduced this many of our let's say these were characters we've never heard of, and they kept throwing in people so that you had gotten a glimpse of them because they're going to matter later, I'd have the same problem I did with this.
Yeah.
It is a pilotitis problem.
Okay, I have a separate question for you if you want to move on. I heard you a few times moan because, and I won't give anything away, won't do any spoilers, but they do take liberties.
Yeah.
And I think they said even in the promotional stuff that they do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But I heard your reactions, so
Okay.
You know, talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, here's the thing. I want to keep an open mind because it's a reimagining, not an actual prequel. Smallville did the same thing. One of my favorite things at the outset of Smallville was Lex Luthor and Clark Kent are friends from the very beginning, and Clark saves his life, and that's how things start going. Well, even though we had them knowing each other earlier in certain versions of the comics, we never had quite that before, but they did stuff with it. It was like a really fascinating relationship. There's a lot of gimmicky stuff that was planted in Smallville that wasn't that way, that I complain about a lot. With this, I gotta wait and see. And there were, so when you heard me groan, it was me going, I don't know if you can pull that off.
That's what it sounded like.
It wasn't me saying,
I'm not sure about this.
It wasn't me saying, oh no, you can't do that to that.
Right,
That's my favorite guy. No, you can't do. I wasn't like that.
You didn't do that. I would have remembered that.
It was, and I'm sure some people will. You know?
Yeah.
But like, for instance, Man of Steel. Lois Lane meets Clark Kent before she ever sees that he's Superman, and I went, this is new. What are you going to do with this? Right. And I was with it. You know, I was like, oh, cool. This is. I wonder what this is going to be like. With this, I had a little bit of that, but more of it was, I don't know if I trust the show to pull that off.
So there's a bit of cynicism with it. It wasn't that, no, you can't do that. It was, I don't think you can do that.
Skepticism. Yeah. Before cynicism.
Appreciate the difference. Yes.
I'm skeptical, and I think I ought to be. You know.
Sure.
Again, there were certain characters that I just did not immediately latch onto. I think that I started enjoying the show a whole lot more when Falcone shows up. Falcone.
Yeah. That's fine.
when he shows up, and we start getting some stuff about the actual city. I think the organization was a little bit strange.
Yeah.
I think it's very plotty at the beginning, and I think it would have been kind of smarter if they'd sort of reversed that a little bit, where we got to breathe in this world for a bit and then start doing stuff.
That's not an uncommon problem with pilots.
Oh no, it's not at all.
I mean, again, pilots do that stuff. They squeeze a lot of stuff in.
Absolutely, but all I'm saying is I've seen enough pilots that knew how to not do that I'm going to criticize it for doing that.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I'm saying. But once again, I just don't know if I would be even remotely interested in half these people if they weren't the beginnings of Catwoman and Penguin and all these people.
I just know that it didn't feel at all like Adam West, and that really upset me. I mean, this did not feel like Batman to me. There were no words on the screen. I mean, it was rough. But that was just me.
I guess so far that's all I've got to say about it. Obviously, I'm going to do a full review and discussion, and we'll try to watch it once more if I can before Wednesday. But anyway, was there anything else you wanted to say about it?
No, I covered
I've been
pretty much everything.
Just sitting here spinning my wheels.
Yeah, and I think that's what it comes down to almost for both of us, really, is we're going to have to